For years, the railroads and the docks kept Conneaut moving. They're both still here, but nothing like in their salad days. These people and their spouses are part of the National Association of Retired and Veteran Railway Workers Unit 043 of Conneaut, reminiscing at a township park picnic. They remember those special days.
We have our meetings at the Eagles Club in Conneaut the second Monday of every month at 10 a.m. And we have a 50-50 drawing and refreshments. And people on railroad retirement, working on railroad retirement, or on the railroad or the dock company who are under railroad retirement are welcome to attend and come to our meetings. Today we're at a picnic at Township Park. We have close to 60 members here today at a picnic. And everybody's getting together to have a good time. And we have officers here from our unit, plus officers from Cleveland and from the state of Ohio here representing the NARV unit. And our membership is $20 for joint and $13 single. So the spouses and the member, the regular member, the engineer, or the railroad person is $13 and $7 for the spouse. We make sure that on our pensions and see how your pension's doing. So we had the last election, we had a little problem with, they were going to try to take our railroad retirement and merge it with Social Security. So as the election turned out, it didn't happen. But every day, every once in a while, they'll go to on the floor of Congress and try to vote it in to take railroad retirement away from us and put it into Social Security, which we don't want. Also, the unit sees about insurance that you have. We have guests that come to our meetings and talk about insurance for when we retire, a supplement, and you come under the retirement part of your pension, and then this will be a supplement that helps you out with the rest of your pension time to see that everything is all right. So we have stuff like that. We have members come and speak for railroad retirement, guests that come do that. We have railroad people that are working on the railroad as supervision come and talk to us, because when they retire, they're on railroad retirement like the regular employees. So the president of the Norfolk Southern receives railroad retirement when he retires and his spouse. So they're concerned about not losing railroad retirement like we are as working people.
First went to work on the railroad, I was 19 years old, and I hired out in 1944 out in Nebraska. And they hadn't hired anybody on the railroad since 1937, so I got right into a regular job. And I worked on the railroad for 15 years, and then I got elected to a full-time position in the Nebraska legislature, representing the men and women that worked on the railroads in the state of Nebraska. And I did that until for 5 years, and then I got called to go to Cleveland, Ohio to represent our international organization, our legislative department. And I did that and started our political action committee and legislative activities till 1981, and then I went to Washington, D.C., and I lobbied in the Congress for railroad retirees for safety and for pensions and our annuities. And so then I was 60, and so I retired. My wife and I both retired, and I've been accepting a railroad retirement pension now for almost 30 years.
Where do you live now?
I live in Cleveland, Ohio. When I retired in Washington, we moved back to Cleveland because that's where our grandchildren were at. And so, I've been national president. I was national president of this NARV organization. I was national president for 16 years. And then I didn't run in 2008, but now I just work around the country and talk to railroad retirees. And with my experience in the legislative arena, I just talk to railroad retirees and tell them about their benefits and what they should watch out for. We have $27 billion in our trust fund to pay our annuities. And we always have to be careful that the government doesn't try to take that and put it into the federal budget, because ours is a separate pension fund. It was paid for by the employees and the railroads. And so we use it. We want to be sure that we have our annuities for the rest of our lives.
I worked at nickel plate right out of high school. At 17 years old, worked at the yard office. Went to service 3 years. When I came back, I went to the shops. And then 1957, things went haywire with the nickel plate. And I went to RMI in Ashtabula. Until 74, I went down to the dock company. Retired from the dock company in 1987. When things were good, well, they hired anywhere from 900 to 1,500 employees. That was the clerks, railroad men, shop men, And
Is that just in Conneaut?
anywhere, yeah, just in Conneaut, anywhere from 900 to 1,500 people, depending on the economy. And that was a lot of people from Conneaut, Nickel Plate Railroad.
So once in a while there were layoffs and cut people?
Well, depending on the economy, they'd lay off some people, and the lowest employment was 900. That was total employment. Shop clerks, shopmen, roadmen, engineers, whatever, like John, whatever. And, in fact, I knew his father, B.I. Brady, they called him.
Yeah, I was a third generation railroader.
Yeah.
When I first hired out, it was still the nickel plate, 1964. You're talking, what's that? No, and they were going through the transition then of going to the N&W. N&W took them over. But like he was talking about crew size and stuff. The first trains I was on had 6 people on a train.
Right.
Engineer, fireman, headman, middleman, flagman, conductor.
And they had the cabooses.
We also had
The
cabooses.
cabooses.
So when Nickel Plate left Conneaut, it had a huge impact.
It made a huge
Sure did.
impact when N&W took over.
Yeah, to me, that was a big beginning of the end for Conneaut as far as the economy. When that happened, 1957.
Never really recovered.
Not totally, no. And the final,
What happened with the dot com?
well, when they steel business went haywire, they used to handle 13 million ton of iron ore and 13 million ton of coal on dock company. In fact, that Denny McClellan right there, he worked down there. Denny, yeah. And then, of course, they went into a lot of plastics. And now I think I don't know what they are. Now they're handle probably 2 or 3 million ton of iron ore and a little bit of coal. And I heard rumors that next year they're going to start handling 3 million ton of coal. It's on the upland so far.
Shipping it out of here?
Shipping it out. Yeah.
What was your first job, Armin?
I was a clerk in the yard office at 17 years old. Al Lamp hired me, and he said, you got to be 18 to work on the railroad. So he lied my age. So when I went to retire, a railroad retirement guy at 62, said, you could have retired last June. I said, no, my birthday's in January. So anyway,
He got caught.
yeah, I joined the service in May of 43 in the Navy. I was in the Southwest Pacific. I was on a destroyer escort, and we were in the invasions of the Philippines, Philippines first, then Iwo Jima, then Okinawa. Went back to the nickel plate to the yard office. I was there a couple months. I went into the shops. And that was in 1946. I went back to the shops. And then things went haywire. I was like I tell you, 57. And I went to Armina, Asheville, chemical plant. Yeah.
Was it easy to find work then?
It was easy to find work then. Yeah. It was easier than now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even easy in my day, in the
Yeah.
early to late 60s, it was easy to find a job. You'd go fill out several applications. By the time you got home, people would be calling you to come to work. I was a brakeman, and then I went into the engine service in 1970. So I was an engineer from 70 till retirement. What's that? 2005, after 41 years.
So how much of a presence does the railroad have here now?
Not much of a presence. They do change crews on some trains, not all the trains, but some trains change crews on some trains.
Well, it's an exciting venture when you first start working. I started when they had steam engines and coal-burning locomotives, It's an exciting thing for a young person to start out on the railroad and all that moving equipment and moving transportation across the country. It's really exciting, and then the benefits are there and everything that were negotiated between the railroads and our union. So our benefits are really outstanding. There are in excess of 3,000 right in this congressional district. We, as our organization, receives a pamphlet from the Railroad Retirement Board, and it gives us every congressional district in the entire United States, and then how many retirees reside in that congressional district. That's how we know. And there's over 50,000 railroad retirees in the state of Ohio. Conneaut, there was a man that called our national office in Missouri and told our national secretary-treasurer that Conneaut should be a good place to have a unit of our NARV organization. That's the National Association of Retired and Veteran Railway Employees. And we're the only federally chartered railroad retiree association in the whole industry that has for its sole purpose the protection, promotion, and preservation of our annuity. So I put an ad in the paper here. The paper was very cooperative in Conneaut, and then about 75 people showed up at the day's end, and we had a meeting, and I said, well, now we have to have 17 members, and just like that, they all signed their checks and brought them up to a table, and then after that, we said we need officers, and they volunteered. The officers volunteered, and a man said, well, you can meet at the Eagles Club, and so we got the meeting started that way. It's been very successful. We're very happy with it.
And how long ago was that?
That was about 2 years ago, because this is the second picnic they've had.